Deep beneath the old ruins lies a narrow stone passage, a single pit. Easy to spot, easy to avoid, but this is the trick. Inspired by the drawing A Leap of Faith from Past Peculiar, I wanted to bring this deadly dungeon to life, not only as a display piece, but also as a working trap terrain for D&D. In this video, I will show you how to build this diorama from XPS foam, from carving the stones to engineering the trap. And thanks again to Niklas from Past Peculiar for the inspiration. As I said, everything is built from XPS foam, it's lightweight, easy to carve, and perfect for hidden mechanisms. To be able to use my proxon for this build, the maximum height has to be 14 cm, and the total length will be 30 cm. The entrance to the corridor will be 10 cm long, then a pit of 5 cm, and the remaining portion will be 15 cm. The first pit is 12.5 cm deep. If you want a door at the end of the corridor, you can add an additional centimeter to the base. And now we'll cut everything. My chunk of XPS foam was not perfectly square, so I did an additional cut in order to make it perfectly straight. And now that this piece is ready, we'll cut it in two different parts. The first part will be 5 cm deep, we'll use it to cut the secret pit. And then we'll cut a second part of 1 cm deep that we'll use in front of the build in order to cover the secret pit. So for the moment, you can put the slim part on the side and we will focus on the biggest one. And we will start by carving the floor tiles. In order to do that, we'll need one line at half a centimeter from the top. Draw some marks with a pencil and then you will cut a straight line with a cutter. And once the cut is done, you will use a pencil in order to deepen it. And then you can replicate the same process on the upper part in order to draw the floor tiles. Each tile will be a square of 2.5 cm, which is equivalent approximately to 1 inch. And depending on the looks you want for your dungeon, you can also add some cracks at this step. And when you are done, you can add some texture with a rock from your garden. And now we'll draw the second secret pit. It will start diagonally from the first tile until the third one, and from the second tiles until the fifth one. For the diagonal part, from the top you'll have 10 cm, and then you can add 2 cm vertically. And before cutting it, don't forget to do the floor tiles around the pit. You can still do it after, but once cut, the wall between the two pits will be a bit less sturdier. And for the wall parts, instead of squares, I will do some rectangles. Other than that, the process is exactly the same. When you are done, don't forget to texturize it with a stone. And in order to add some variety, you can also use this stone in order to deepen some of the tiles. Don't cut any line in the remaining parts, but you can still texturize it with a stone. All these parts will represent the ground below the dungeon stones. And last step before cutting the secret pit, I will punch some holes with some toothpicks. And each of those toothpicks will serve as spikes for the trap. On the front panel, the only thing left that you have to do is to replicate the pattern that you did in the walls of the pit. But don't do anything on the edges of the front panel, we'll keep it flat and paint it black in order to simulate that the walls continue. And before cutting it, you can already pre-draw the floor tiles on the bottom part of the secret pit. When you cut it, be extra careful and take your time, and make sure to not damage the floor tiles on the upper part. And now that we have this hatch, we'll need to cut it as slim as possible while keeping all the floor tiles. And instead of your cutter, you can directly use your proxone in order to cut the joint of your stoneworks. For the hatch, we'll cut a piece of wooden dowel and glue it to it, and the door will be made of coffee stirrers. I will use some toothpicks in order to make the hinges and the door knob. And finally, we'll have to do a back panel that will be exactly the same as the front panel, but double the height. Some parts of it will be covered by the middle panel, so you don't have to texturize everything. In this back panel, we'll have to drill a hole in order to insert the hatch. To attach the front panel, we'll magnetize it. For this, we'll use two magnets of 5 by 1 mm and two washers. With a wooden dowel, you can punch the holes for the magnets. And then you can glue them in place. For the washers, you can use approximately the same technique. If you like this build so far, don't hesitate to subscribe to the channel, to leave a like or a comment. It's really the best way to help me grow. I'm not sure it's mandatory, but I prefer to reinforce the hatch with some coffee stirrers. And you will also do an additional hole in order to insert the lock mechanism of the hatch. This lock will be activated when your players will spin the torch at the beginning of the corridor. To do that, you can simply replicate one of the torches of my previous video, and you will make fake wooden support with barbecue skewers. One of the support will be the same size as the torch, and the second one will be super long in order to go through the wall. And while everything is drying, I finished the door and made some stone arch for it. I replicated the pattern from the wall and tried to align all the joints. I made this wall mechanism in order to activate the lock once the torch is spinned, but spoiler alert, while everything was working properly before the paint job, afterward it created some friction and it was not working as smoothly anymore. Speaking of the devil, I did a dedicated tutorial on this paint job in my previous video, a Prince of Persia diorama. Again, on the back panel, you don't need to paint everything because most of it will be covered by the middle panel. And for the middle panel, the technique is exactly the same, but for the dirt part, I use some brown instead of some grey. And now it's finally time to glue everything together. And while it's drying, make sure to align everything perfectly. And to add some contrast to the grey corridor, I will glue some static grass. And finally, I will glue all the spikes. Each one is made of half a toothpick. Make sure to vary the size and the angles. I made a lever linked to the torch with some hot glue gun, but again this mechanism was not working at the end, so I had to replace it. What I did finally was to attach one side of a cord directly to the wooden dowel linked to the hatch and the other side to the torch. This makes a pulley. And here is the final piece, a dungeon diorama ready for your next D&D session. The falling floor works almost perfectly, and the hidden trap adds the element of surprise that every DM loves. I hope you enjoyed this build as much as I did, and if you want to see more interactive traps and D&D terrain like this, don't forget to like this video and to subscribe. It really helps the channel grow. Thanks again to Past Peculiar for the amazing artwork that inspired this project.